I've got a problem.
Oh?
Yeah, well, since I didn't hear from her for so long, I assumed I didn't get the position, so I didn't apply for a dorm room for the summer. I'm afraid it's too late for that now.
Yeah, the deadline for campus housing applications has already passed. So what are you going to do now?
Well, I can stay with my parents. They live 2 hours from here, and so I thought I could drive and commute to campus every day. I know my mom and dad would be happy to have me over for a few weeks, and most of my old friends will be home for the summer, so in a way it'd be fun.
Yeah, I understand. But you'd spend quite a bit of time on the road going back and forth. Won't you get tired?
Yeah, that thought did cross my mind. The other thing I could do is rent an apartment off campus. Besides being much closer to work, I'd also save tons of money on gas.
Uh-huh. But then you'd have to pay rent.
I know. There's always something, isn't there?
The students discuss a problem and two possible solutions. Briefly summarize the problem, then state which of the two solutions you prefer and explain why.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
According to the conversation, the man has a problem, and the problem is that he could not apply dorm room. In the listening process, there are two solutions. The first one is to live with his parents, and another solution is to rent an apartment near campus. Although it will be nice to share the house with parents, it will be hard for him to go university because the house is 2 hours from university. On the other hand, to rent an apartment near campus is a good solution because he can concentrate on his study. The most important thing for students is, I think, to study. So the second one will be better.
Number 6. In this question, you will listen to a short lecture. You will then be asked to summarize important information from the lecture. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. Listen to part of a lecture in an interior design class.
So we're talking about interior design, specifically the basic principles typically used in home and office decoration in the United States. Effective designs create a delicate balance between two things. You need unity and you also need contrast, which is essentially a break in unity. Now, this might seem a little contradictory, but let me explain why we need both of these for an effective design. So for the first principle, we need unity in our design. And think of it as consistency. Well, an easy and very effective way to do this is by bringing together similar elements. A common example is by matching colors. You pick a color and use it for different parts of the room. Say you pick green, and then use a light shade of green for the walls and maybe a somewhat darker shade for the fabric on the sofa. And finally, complement that with a matching green in the rug. When elements match, the room is unified and gives its residents a sense of order and comfort. Okay, but there is such a thing as too much unity. Remember, you need a balance of unity and contrast. If all you do is focus on unity, the result will be a boring room. So what do? Well, you apply the second basic principle of design, which is contrast. Contrast serves to disrupt or break up the unity in places, but in a careful, intentional way. Well, let's continue using color as an example. To create contrast, color contrast, you need to abruptly change your color scheme once in a while. Let's see. You could throw bright red cushions on your dark green sofa, for example. Contrast makes things stand out. The green will look even greener next to the red. So now your room is more interesting, not completely the same. But watch out. Too much contrast is also dangerous, just like too much sameness is. Too much contrast will make the room feel busy.
Using the points and examples from the lecture, explain what unity and contrast are and how they make interior design more effective.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
In the listening process, the professor tries to illustrate unity and contrast. At first, unity. Unity is made by similar elements like same color. For example, green wall and green sofa in the same room will make unity, and it is a very comfort impression. But too much unity, it results boring room. So contrast is important because contrast disrupts unity. To make color contrast is one of the example of contrast. For example, red cushion on the green sofa is a good example of color contrast. But too much contrast make a busy impression, so people should take care of this.